everybody, welcome. Today we're going to start out on the floor, so have your chair as always, but also have something comfy that you can lay on, whether it be a mat, a blanket, a rug, something like that. And I have today some weights with me, i.e. 2 bottles of water. You can use something like 1 or 2 pound weight, something like that, but as long as they're equal in both sides, that's what we're going for. And we're going to do a couple little weighted activities. And if you don't have weights, don't worry. So we're going to start in about 2 minutes. Hi guys, welcome to Chair Mind Body Connection. We're going to start working on the ground today. Have your chair near as always, and I also have weights with me today in the form of bottles of water. I want it to be a lightweight, so if I don't have anything that I can match up with each other, like 2 bottles of water or 2 cans of soup, or 2 small weights, 1 or 2 pounds a piece, I can just use my body weight. It's not a problem. What we are going to do some upper body activities is in chest presses and chest flies and things like that. So I just want to have some resistance if I have something like that near me. But we are going to lay down on the ground and start out with our centering just on the ground. You don't have to be super close to your chair right now. We will be doing some leg and glute activities later that will have our feet up on the chair for. So if it's near you, you're just going to say the step later on. And I'm just going to lay down on the ground and I'm going to relax. My legs can be however they want to be right now. I feel like I want to have my knees kind of at a little tent. My feet out to the side. I can have my legs on top of my chair. I can have my legs up straight. I can have my legs up high. Whatever makes you happy for our little centering bit. So get comfy if you want to put a pillow underneath your head, blanket on it, anything like that. We're going to be here for about 2 minutes. And the idea, as always, is just to either breathe in and breathe out, take time to do a body scan, take time to do any sort of mantra or gratitude that you may have for the day, or set any intentions for the day. But if none of that floats your boat, don't worry, and just breathe. because we are a no stress on the wrists, no stress on the knees type of class. I figured the only way that we're really going to ever strengthen our chest is by doing some exercises here on the ground. So that's kind of why we're going for them today. So I'm just starting to move around a little bit. I'm just swinging my knees a little bit side to side, nice and slow and controlled. As this class, we are never in any sort of rush. It takes us an extra second or two to get there, then guess what? It does, and everything is good. Let's drop our knees to one side. Pick a side, doesn't matter. My hands are just on my hips. I'm looking up towards the sky, towards the ceiling. If you're outside, I am very jealous of you. And then turn your head the opposite way. So if my knees are going that way, my head's going the other way. Bring your head back to the center. Bring your knees back to the center. Drop the knees to the other side, hands on the hips, looking straight up. And if you ever need to take your hands and move your lower body, that's perfectly fine. And then turn and face your head the other direction. Bring those knees back to the middle and straighten out your legs all the way. And we're just pointing and flexing those toes. Take your hands up nice and high and just give yourself a big hug. And then switch which arm is on top. And release. Bring those arms up nice and high, and then bring them up behind you and stretch them out as far as they can go. I'm hitting my wall here so I can stay in frame, but I want you to stretch those arms super. There we go. I'm just going to grab a wrist and pull over to one side. I'm going to switch out other side. Come back to the center, bring those arms up nice and high. Cross one arm over and bend that arm in. So I'm just, we're going to sit for a second so I can show you a little better. Just going like that. Laying down on the ground. We're just going to switch other side. and release. Take your weights, bring them near you so you can grab them while you're laying down. And then I think just for my own comfort, I'm gonna swing my legs over top so I can be in frame a little bit better. You could definitely have your legs like me, or they can just be straight. That's totally fine. So I'm gonna do these movements with no weights first, and then I'm gonna add the optional weights. So first we're just gonna have our elbows glued to our side and our palms facing in. And all we're gonna do is one at a time, we're gonna punch up towards the ceiling. So we're gonna come up and back down, and up and back down. So we're gonna do 9 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, oh, I'm doing it wrong. 3, 2, 1. I totally messed up that count, so let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We can never do too much warming up. Now we're gonna bring those elbows out to the side and we're gonna punch up. Let's punch up with one hand and then the other. Let's go for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Bring those elbows back in, and we're going to do both arms at the same time. Let's punch up for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Elbows out to the side, coming up together for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Now do a little check. See how your pelvis is doing. Is your back nice and flush against the mat? Do you need to tilt your pelvis a little bit to make it so? Do you need to put your legs up on a chair to make that pelvis tilt? Think about these things now while we have no weights so that we can continue thinking about those and you know how they feel when you add weights, if you're going to add weights. Okay, so now we're going to go out to the side. So you're going to have your arms up, so you're going to have palms facing each other, have a tiny little bit of bend in the elbows, and have your shoulders tucked back and down. One arm out to the side, and back in, and switch. Let's go for 9 more. For 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those arms back where they were, and all we're going to do is one at a time bend that hand towards that head. So we're going to go down for 1 and switch. For 9, 8, 7, 2, and 1. Bring those hands down for a second. We're going to do one more exercise to add in. Bring those arms back up. We're just going to bring that arm straight back and back up. So let me scooch a little bit. All right, so dropping one hand down and back up, and the other. 9. Remember, we're going slow. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Relaxed. Now, do your pelvis tilt, twist, do anything weird that felt like you're making an arch with your back? Hopefully not. But if you did, then maybe you need to adjust, and maybe you need to keep things separate and not do things together, which we're going to do next. So we're going to try it together and really focus on making sure that your back doesn't arch. And if it does arch, what do you need to do to make sure that it doesn't? Does that mean only coming down halfway? Does that mean going back to side? It's really, truly up to you to monitor, but it is up to you to also make the modification. So if you're doing it today and you're like, I'm really confused, Jen, let me know and we can set up a time to talk. All right, so let's do those last 2 exercises together, both sides together. So we're gonna come up, we're gonna go out to the side first. So remember, a little bit of a bend in the elbow and shoulders tucked back. We're gonna come out for 1 and in. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Beautiful. Stay up top. We're going to bend that elbow towards, so our hands go towards the head. So we're going to come back for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then stay up, and then straight arms back behind. Really pay attention to your pelvis here. Let's go down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Bring those hands down by your side or put them on your belly. So that's the routine that we're going to do with our weights if you so think that it's a good idea. So we're going to go through a round of everything separately and a round of everything together. Then we're going to do some legs, and then we're going to do the same thing again. So let's warm up the lower body a little bit before we get into it. So we're just going to bring our feet up on the chair if they're not already. And if you're like, don't really want to, you can do this on the ground too. It's not a problem. All we're going to do is just lift the hips up a little bit and back down. So I'm pivoting here on my heels. Just come up and down. You could have your hands by your side. And I'm just doing little ranges of motion, just warming up that lower body a little bit. Let's do 2 more. All right, take your right leg and cross it over your left. We're gonna do our little figure 4 stretch exactly like we do when we're seated on the chair, except we're just gonna be doing it on the ground. So all I'm gonna do is just take my hand, put it on the inside of my thigh, and I don't have to lean forward here. Big breaths. Okay, let's switch it out. Other side. Other leg. Cross it on over. Hand on the thigh, and kind of open that up. And release. Bring those heels back onto your bench, your chair, whatever it happens to be. And we're gonna do 10 up and downs with our hips. Saying they can go up as high or as low as you would like. Your hands can be on your belly, up by your head, or down by your side. Whatever you want. Your workout, your decisions. Okay, so lift up. For 1, 2, 3. Remember, you can also do this on the floor. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Relax those legs either on your chair or on the ground. And we're going to take our weights for our first grouping through. So we're going to go through everything, all those exercises, single arm, and then all those exercises, double arm. Now, weights are optional. Today I'm just using my little water bottles, but I'm making sure that I have the same amount of water on each side. All right, so first our elbows are going to be glued to our chest, and we're just going to push up and down 10 times, single arm. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pivot those elbows out to the side. Let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, bring those elbows back in. Bring those arms up. A little bit of a bend of the elbows, and we're coming out to the side. Let's go one at a time. Sorry. 1. Just jumping ahead. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Arms up, bringing that hand towards the face for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and last exercise, straight arms, back for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, drop those weights for a second and just hug your knees into your chest. All I know is that when I do water bottles next time, I'm going to make sure that they're not cold because my hands are freezing. Whew. They weren't in the fridge or anything, but they're chilly. Okay, so if you felt that your hips and back were in control and where they needed to be for that duration of doing individual sides, then we're going to go through that again with the double side. So each side together in beautiful harmony. Okay, elbows glued to the side, 10 up, 10 down. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Elbows out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hands up, palms together, coming out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Staying up, bring those hands near the face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Straight arms. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your weights. Beautiful. Okay, we are going to go through that one more time, but we're going to do some glute lifts first. So back to having our heels on your chair or having your feet on the ground. We're lifting those hips up in the air. 10 of those. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. Open one leg out to our figure 4. So as I said, we're going to do that set of upper body one more time. So if you're like, you know what, that felt good. I kind of wish I had heavier weights with me, but they're too far away and I'm going to miss stuff if I go get them. What we're going to do as an option, let's switch legs, is instead of doing everything that's single arm for the first round, you can ever do everything double arm for the first round, but you're only going to be doing 20 repetitions instead of the 10. So I'm going to be doing the single like we did for the round 1, so everyone can participate with me. But if you want to bump it up, relax, do the exercises together, just do double the repetitions. So that is your option for the third and last round of these chest and arm exercises. Hope you enjoy. I know you're gonna, of course you're gonna. So take your weights. One thing too is if your bottles of water aren't completely full, I've noticed even a little bit with just a little bit of air that's near, when that water swishes back and forth, it kind of changes where the weight is in the bottle. And that can potentially be something of a little bit of a challenge. So that's something if you have maybe a larger bottle of water and you only fill it up halfway, you have to deal with the movement of the water too. So that's just something, a little extra tidbit of fun. Okay, elbows glued to your side. We can finish this in time. We're working on it. We're good. All right, so I'm gonna do it single, but you can do a double if you want. Let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Elbows out to the side. 1. And we're going straight up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Straighten those arms, palms together, a little bit of a bend in the elbow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And bend those elbows to bring your weights or hands by your face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Straighten those arms, straight back for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Drop those weights. Give your knees a hug in. And we have one more set of those weights going together. Okay. Are we ready? Grabbing your weights, elbows tucked in, up and down together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Elbows out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Palms facing each other. Out to the side for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come on up, bring those weights near the face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Straighten those arms. Last set. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woohoo! Put those weights down. Hug those knees in. And we're going to roll onto our side and then come up to a seated position here on the ground. So however you do that, totally fine. And just have those legs out in front of you. Toes up. And what we're going to do is we're going to reach down towards one ankle and come on up and switch to the other side. 3 more like that. Beautiful. Hug those knees in. Give yourself a big hug again. All about the self-appreciation. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. So I'm here in this big hug. All I'm going to do is release, open up to the side, lean back a little bit, and switch. Let's do 3 more. And finally, we're going to get up onto our chair, however that works for you. We're going to finish off here. Okay, hands on our thighs. Let's look one way. And look the other way. Go back to the middle, look down. And look up towards the corner of the room. Release, cross one leg over the other. My left leg is crossed over, so I'm going to grab my right hand on top and I'm going to spinal twist. And we're going to switch legs. And spinal twist on the other side. And come back to the center, release those legs. We did a lot of arm exercises today, so we're going to stretch out those arms. First, we're going to have our arms out to the side and just pull back and really stretch out all these fibers on our backs. And I'm just going to bring those arms down, so we're doing the same motion, just at a lower angle. And then at a higher angle. Back to the middle. Back low. And high. Release, give those arms a big hug. Switch arms on top. And then bring one arm behind and slightly pull back on the back of your elbow for a tricep stretch. And switch sides. And then release, you can sit back on your chair. And we're gonna do some arm stretches. Just move those hands around and about. Pull one hand down. And switch sides. Then flip it over, pull it other hand down, palm facing up this time. And switch. We have exactly 2 minutes left, so we're going to go into our little seated Shavasana. However you would like. If you want to go back to the ground, perfectly fine. Whatever position makes you feel comfortable. We're going to be there for about 90 seconds. Feel free to close your eyes or gaze softly towards an object or the floor. that is it for today. I'd love to know what you thought about all the floor work and all that chest and arm work that we usually don't do very much of. Thank you for coming. I'll see you later.